63 years ago, from the 22nd to the 25th days of May, the year 1963, the 32 heads of states and government of the then independent African countries and representation from freedom-fighting movements in different parts of Africa gathered in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, with one agenda: to emphasize and give practical meaning to African unity. Each one of them, without exception, recognized that the long-term health and future of the continent not only required but demanded, but that she must be united, her diversity being her strength. Many spoke, but others stood out. Tanzania's Julius Kambarage Nyerere was clear. We have not come here to remind ourselves of how important unity is. United we must be. Ghana's Osagyefo Kwame Nkrumah was even more passionate. We must unite now, because if we do not unite, the colonizer will come again, and he will do what he has done before to dominate us. Let us remember that the colonizer does not change his character. He may wear different masks, but he remains the same, he said. Let us therefore live here with one accord. We'll have one military, one foreign policy, and that we will have one army, and that we shall have one capital, and that Africa in her diversity will confront the world in unity. At the end of it all, the exhortation of the Osagyefo was not embraced in its entirety, but we ended up with the Organization of African Unity, which, to its credit, contributed to the liberation of other countries which were still under the colonial yoke. But it fell short, and that is why the decision was made not only to change its name, but to migrate its agenda to much more urgent issues of integration. We now know it as the African Union, and its clarion call is that by the year 2063, as prescribed in Africa Agenda 2063, the continent will be a continent of peace, harmony, development, a continent that can feed ourselves, a continent that will be respected in the world, a continent that will trade within itself under the aegis of Africa Continental Free Trade Area. The AU may not be doing what it must with the enthusiasm that we expect of her, but it is our duty to ensure that she does that. That is why, as we are gathered here 63 years later to commemorate the founding of the OAU turned AU, we must liberate ourselves from the chains of lamentation, and we must pick the baton and move and play our part. Mwalimu Nyerere of Tanzania said many times, it can be done. Let us play our part. He said on the 6th day of March 1997 in Accra, Ghana, on the occasion of the 40th independence anniversary of Ghana, that their generation had played its part. It is the duty of the new generation to play its part. The time is now. It can be done. We must do it. We must not allow Africa to be in the position in which she is, where some of our sons and daughters are rejecting their kith and kin. What happened recently in South Africa, although isolated, must be condemned. It is not right that some South Africans call their kith and kin makwerekwere and tell them to leave South Africa. We agree people must follow the law, but it does not legitimize their forcible expulsion. In Kenya, a similar incident was also recorded, with some Nigerians being evicted from their homes. Kenyans of goodwill must condemn that, and it must be condemned everywhere in Africa. Africa must be borderless. Africa must, in the nature of things, hearken to the voice of what we have seen with Ghana's John Dramani Mahama, when he went to the United Nations and said, we must declare that the transatlantic trade was a crime against humanity. All voted yes, except the following: Argentina, the USA, and Israel voted against, and all the former colonizers abstained. That tells you what is in their mind. The time is now for us to wake up. We must make Africa borderless. The person in Nouakchott in Mauritania should wake up in the morning and take a plane and move to Addis Ababa in Ethiopia and find men and women who will accommodate him or her. The same must happen to the person moving from Tunis in Tunisia when he or she lands in Cape Town in South Africa. The same must happen to the person who moves from Bangui in Central African Republic to Juba in Sudan. Africa must be one. And therefore, as we commemorate 63 years since the creation of the Pan-African body, the spirit of Pan-Africanism must be a spirit that opens up to accommodate all Africans wherever they are, whether they are in Trinidad and Tobago, Antigua and Barbuda, St. Kitts and Nevis, Barbados, or anywhere they are. They must feel that their home is the continent of Africa and that they will be accommodated. As Samora Moises Machel of Mozambique said, "A luta continua, Victoria è certa." The struggle continues. Victory is certain. God bless you.